The human rights of all our citizens must be guaranteed.
Nelson Mandela was an icon. He was a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, a national hero in South Africa, and one of the most admired leaders in history. He was unique and his smile shone like none other. Nelson Mandela International Day, or Mandela Day, is a global day of holiday celebration. It's celebrated annually on July 18th. This holiday is a reminder for people to contribute to making the world a better place and is also named in his honor. So follow me please as we journey through these 20 fascinating facts about Nelson Mandela and put a little bit more of a spotlight on Black history. Number 20. Mandela in prison. Nelson Mandela was in prison for approximately 27 years of his life, mainly for protests. He was in prison for 18 years on Robben Island for conspiring to overthrow the state, where he was permitted to see his wife once every 6 months. There are Robben Island tours available now to tour Mandela's prison cell. Number 19. Mandela's kids and tragic deaths. Nelson Mandela had 6 children, 2 boys and 4 girls, and 1 stepchild. He lost 3 of them to a tragic death. His son, Madiba Thembi, who died in a car accident in 1969. Magatho Luwaniki, who died of AIDS-related illness in 2005. And Makaziwe, who died just 9 months after birth. Pumla Makaziwe, Zenani, and Zinswa are surviving children. Number 18. Family of Mandela, 3 marriages. Did you know that Mandela was married 3 times? Evelyn Ntoko Mays, 1944 to 1958. Winnie Madikizela Mandela, 1958 to 1996. And at the age of 80, he married Gracia Machel from 1998 to 2013, the widow of the former president of Mozambique, Samora Machel. She became the first woman to be the first lady of 2 countries when she wedded Mandela after losing her husband. Fascinating, right? Number 17. Mandela Apartheid Campaigner. Nelson Mandela is well known both in South Africa and abroad for leading the anti-apartheid campaign. The government's apartheid policy divided whites from non-whites. It meant that white and non-white people were not permitted to get married, sit at the same table at a restaurant, establish sport teams, or reside in the same neighborhood. The goal of the policy was to deny people equal rights and to treat them differently based on their skin color. But Mandela campaigned against it, and slowly but surely he won the hearts and minds of the people against apartheid. Number 16. Mandela's favorite food. Although he was served some of the world's most exquisite dishes, Mandela preferred to eat tripe, which is the inside of farm animals. Number 15. He received the highest Indian civilian honor. Nelson Mandela received the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian honor of the Republic of India, in 1990, making him the second non-citizen and the first non-Indian to do so. The prize has also been given to notable figures like Mother Teresa and APJ Abdul Kalam. Number 14. Other honors of Mandela. Mandela received over 250 honors, including honorary degrees from more than 50 universities around the world. He also got the Nobel Prize for Peace in F.W. de Klerk in 1993 for their work toward the peaceful termination of the apartheid regime and for laying the foundations for a new democratic South Africa. Number 13. Mandela thought sports could change the world.
Sport has the power to change the world.
Sports, according to Mandela, have the power to change the world. They have the power to inspire. It can bring people together in a way that few other things can. Youth are addressed in a language they can comprehend, where once there was only desperation, sports can now bring about hope. When it comes to removing social barriers, it's more effective than the government. Number 12. The nicknames the Black Pimpernel and Madiba. Mandela got the nickname the Black Pimpernel for his skill in eluding the security services after going into hiding due to his ANC activities. He was known for dressing like a chauffeur, chef, or gardener to escape the police. This nickname was a reference to the book The Scarlet Pimpernel, which had a hero with a double life. Later on, Mandela became known by his clan name, Madiba. Number 11. Mandela's big inspiration. Nelson Mandela's hero was Mahatma Gandhi. He admired the man who in return greatly admired him for leading India at the time by nonviolence. Number 10. A spider named after him. Did you know that Nelson Mandela is honored with 2 names? Australopithecus Nelson Mandela, the name of a fossilized woodpecker and a species of spider? Number 9. Commitment to his goal. Nelson Mandela was willing to die for a democratic and free society that encouraged equality and peace for the populace. When he declared this during the Rivonia trial, he shot to international renown. And that was how his courage to pursue his goal gave him a place on the world stage. Number 8. Nelson had tuberculosis. Another shocking thing you didn't know about Mandela is that he suffered from tuberculosis. Nelson Mandela was transferred to Victor Verster Prison near Paarl after receiving a tuberculosis diagnosis on August 12, 1988. Number 7. How he got the name Nelson. Nelson Mandela is from the Xhosa tribe. He was also given the name Rolihlahla Mandela, which means to pull a branch off a tree and troublemaker in English. When he was 7 years old, his primary school teacher gave him the name Nelson. African children were given English names in the 1920s so that their colonial overlords could actually pronounce them. Number 6. The first to be educated. Nelson Mandela was the first person in his family to complete formal education. In South Africa at the time, very few black children completed high school. Number 5. His banning days. Nelson Mandela was found guilty in 1952 under the Suppression of Communism Act, and as a result, he was banned from leaving Johannesburg and taking part in public events. But in that same year, he courageously established South Africa's first black partnership. Number 4. Streets are named after him. Did you know that Nelson Mandela has hundreds of streets around the world that are named after him? These include some of the following: Nelson Mandela Street in Terra Rouge, Mauritius, Nelson Mandela Marg Interchange in New Delhi, India, and Nelson Mandela Street in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Number 3. Mandela was an AIDS campaigner. Nelson Mandela promoted AIDS awareness and programs for its terrible affliction, which took the life of his son, Magatho. More people suffer from the illness in South Africa than in any other nation in the globe. Number 2. Studied as a prisoner. While he was in prison, he earned a Bachelor of Law from the University of London and educated his fellow prisoners to use a non-violent way to achieve better treatment in the prison. Number 1. Mandela as South Africa's first black president. Nelson Mandela was the first black president of South Africa. He was president from 1994 until 1999 and is referred to as South Africa's Great Black Hope and the world's most famous political prisoner. Mandela was an icon to follow, an inspiration and a model for all of us. It takes great courage to do what he's done, and his actions have big impact today. So let us know, which facts struck you as the most surprising? Tell us in the comments below. And as always, thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next video.